We discuss the affairs of our deen, where we discuss our faith and how we can improve ourselves and how we can fulfill, inshallah, and try to achieve the promise of paradise and become better and better Muslims and follow the example of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Previously, we touched upon the subject of patience, of sabr, and we discussed aspects of patience, and we discussed the absence of patience in our lives. We looked back and we reflected upon how today we measure our happiness and satisfaction according to what we have. And our disappointments and our concerns are in accordance to what we don't have and what we want. We explained and we discussed how gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and being thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a way we can achieve patience. If we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for everything we have, then inshallah the patience will come. We'll be patient when we have worries and concerns. We don't have what we think we should have or we need to have. We will be patient and we will be happy and satisfied with the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Brothers and sisters, we complain even though we have luxuries. Yet the Salihin, they never complain. They were satisfied even though they were deprived of necessities. That's a big difference, brothers and sisters. We have luxuries and we still complain. And the Salihin and the Muttaqeen and the Sadiqeen, the most pious and truthful servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, did not ever complain. They were satisfied even though they did not even have the necessities of life, and what they had was at a minimum. They were patient because as we reflected upon some of the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and how he had chosen poverty, and he chose poverty for a reason. He chose poverty because he did not want his ummah, his nation, his followers to chase the riches of this dunya. He did not want his followers to love this dunya. He wanted his followers to love paradise and to follow his example. That's the reason why Muslims were not supposed to have kingdoms. We're not supposed to be kings or queens or monarchs. This is the reason why. We can look upon how the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had this belief, and they were satisfied that they would enjoy the riches of paradise, and they would be satisfied in hardship. They would be happy in their poverty, and they would rejoice in their suffering because they knew Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised them something much greater. Hazrat Umar Farooq Raziyat al-Anhu once said that I do not care in what state I wake up, whether it is good or bad, because I do not know what is good for me and what is bad. Which means He put His affairs in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, saying, I don't even know what is good for me and what is bad for me, so I do not worry about that. And this is patience. This is complete tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Brothers and sisters, aspects of patience which go far beyond just with what we have, what we need, what we want. The aspects of patience also go to how we behave with our family and friends and the people around us, how our conduct is. Because when I say that we have an absence of patience in our lives, it's not just according to the fact that we complain about what we don't have and what we'd like to have. It's also down to how we treat each other. Because we know that we live in a time when quarreling and fighting amongst kin, amongst blood relatives, is so common. Today there's so much unrest in relationships. Children are disrespectful to their parents. Children have no respect. They disregard their parents. And they are quick to be rude to their mother and father. In a similar way, husband and wife, they have so many strains in their relationship. A lack of respect is far too common. And other relationships have the same problems. Once again, brothers and sisters, patience is missing in these relationships. Let's look at the finest example of all, the most perfect example that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed upon us, and the example of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and how he treated and how patient he was with those people who opposed him, with the pagans of the time, who insulted him, who hurt him in every possible way. And he was patient with them. This is a level of patience which goes far beyond what we can ever even contemplate. But we can learn from this. A beautiful hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is about a lady who was leaving Makkah Mukarramah. She had a big bundle of her clothes and possessions with her, a very heavy bundle, and she was leaving Makkah Mukarramah. And a beautiful young man came to her, approached her and said, "Lady, shall I help you? Shall I help you with this bundle? Shall I help you carry this bundle?" And she agreed, and she thanked him, and he began to walk with her. And she began to talk. She was an elderly lady, she began to talk. And she said, she was very sad, she was leaving her home, Makkah Mukarramah, she was leaving her city. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was the beautiful man who was helping her, asked her, "Why are you leaving?" And she began talking, and she said, "There is a man in Makkah Mukarramah, there's a man, and he's a magician. He's bringing people to another way." She obviously did not know that the person helping her was Sayyidina Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. She began talking about how somebody in Makkah Mukarramah had brought up a new religion, a new faith, and said he was a prophet of God. How people were being divided. She said he's a magician. He has turned people against each other, and he's talking of a new faith and asking us to leave our faith, asking us to leave worshipping idols. And she began complaining about him. She says he wants to give rights to slaves. He says slaves have rights. He says animals have rights. She says, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's preaching, but I can't live there anymore. And she was spending all the time, all this journey she was spending, as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was holding and was walking with her, holding her things.